Hi, I'm Joanne Cary. Welcome back to Embodied Soul Podcast, a multidimensional space intended to support you in living, being, and thriving as the embodied soul you are. In this week's episode, I want to speak to you about presence, and in particular, being present in the moment you're in. There are a lot of spiritual teachings that speak to how you need to be in the present moment. Are you present? Are you conscious of it? And sometimes it can feel a little bit amorphous, a little bit formless in terms of how do you apply this in your life and what does it really mean? And that's what I want to dive into a bit today. So if you are ready to join me, pull up a comfy chair, invite in your soul, and be open to receive exactly what you need to master living, being, and thriving as the embodied soul you are. So when someone says, be present in the moment, be in the present moment, it's our only now moment, and it's the only one that we're creating from. And these statements are all truthful. But sometimes because we live our lives in a very linear fashion, we get up in the morning, we brush our teeth, we eat our breakfast, we live our day, we go to work, we take care of kids, we come back, we go to bed, and then we wake up the next day in what we think is the same body that we woke up in the day before. And so we're experiencing our reality in very much a linear moment-to-moment basis. And so it can be a bit confusing to say, well, what do you mean be in the present moment? Of course I'm in the present moment because there's really no other moment to be in. It's where I am right now. And it's actually not true. Because we're multi-dimensional in nature, and you may be hearing cicadas up in the trees behind me, so if you are hearing a buzzing, maybe I'll move out of the way of them. We are multi-dimensional. And what this means is that we are not just focused in the body that we're living in. This is the body, the incarnation that we came in to learn specific lessons within the physical realm, while we have a higher self, a divine self, who has never come into form, who's basically observing and seeing what's going on in our world from the higher perspective, learning through both the perspective of seeing through your eyes, as well as seeing from a higher vantage point, and also seeing maybe from the vantage point of an oversoul, and even further bird's eye view, so to speak, of your life. And as we move into higher and higher vibrational frequencies, as we continue to evolve in our consciousness, I spoke to this on a previous episode, is we begin to have more sight, more experience of all of the other multidimensional realms, places, lifetimes that are all around us, yet we are so focused keeping the body in form and living our life experience that we often aren't aware of it. And this is what's changing, and it's changing quite rapidly. As we begin to experience with our more tangible physical senses the other lifetimes that we are living across time, space, dimensions, galaxies, it becomes important to know what moment, what eternal present now moment are you actually experiencing. So let me give you an example. Maybe you have a dream and you are seeing through what feels like your eyes, and you are seeing something that is traumatic, is scary, is really sad. And maybe it's really good. Maybe it's a lifetime where you experience the most loving love, the most passionate love. And you wake up from that and you're feeling all of those emotions. And let's just say fear in this moment. You're experiencing fear in your structure of your body. You wake up and you can't shake that dream. And you think, oh my God, like, what is that? What did I do to create that? Because we are learning that we are creator beings and we're creating with our consciousness. And you all of a sudden are thinking, what did I do wrong? What caused this fear to come into my reality right now? I must have done something wrong, or I must have been focused somewhere that I shouldn't have been focused. This is where you get to ask yourself, whose present moment am I in? And you might need to pull yourself back out of the eyes that you're seeing through to be the observer of the being that you're observing through. And say, so is it the me who may be sitting in the bedroom, who may be laying in bed, experiencing these fear? Or are you actually in another present moment, that presence of the lifetime that you lived in that circumstance? Or are you in the presence of that life or that test scenario that you're running in your dream state to prepare you for your lessons of today? So do you understand why this is important? It's because as you are experiencing those other experiences and you're feeling them in your body, if we think that they're ours, then we hold on to them. And that's where we place our focus. And when we're placing our focus, that's what we're drawing more of us to. When in fact, what you're actually doing is you're intending as soul to see what's happening in your dream experience, in this case, as the example. Allow the feelings of fear to move through and be processed by the body, realizing that it's not you. You're not that feeling. That's not your experience. You're safe, curled up under the blankets of your bed. You're just feeling scared. And you get to allow that to flow through you, to flow through the cells, to allow the energies to move through your body. And as you do that, you can actually heal. You can allow that energetic resonance to move from your field and bring you back into that peaceful balance. And yet, if we hold on to it, if we don't recognize what moment we're viewing from, what moment we're experiencing from, then we may be carrying that fear around with us all day. We're then focusing on that fear, and we're actually calling more of that discord, that dissonance, that uncomfortability into our daily lives, when in fact that wasn't the purpose of it, because it's not your present now moment. Now, I hear some of you saying, I don't remember my dreams, I don't work with dreams, like I don't understand this example. So let's take a step more into our lives lived right now. We're all told to, no, we're not told to do anything. We've got the now moment that we're standing in. Anything other than the moment that you are experiencing right now, and right now you may be just sitting listening to this podcast or watching the video, or you may be walking around doing housework, or you might be out for a walk and I'm in your ears. That's your present now moment. And whatever you are seeing, witnessing, feeling is your now eternal present moment. You will always be in that present moment. But let's just say that I say something on this recording right now, as you're in the present moment listening to it, and it reminds you of that experience that you had when you were 5 years old, when your dad gave you trouble and made you feel shameful for not being smart enough or saying something stupid or whatever the case may be. It could also be a mom, it could be a teacher, it could be anybody. I'm not picking on dads here. You just moved yourself out of your current present now moment, and you placed your consciousness into your 5-year-old self, or perhaps as the witness to the experience of the 5-year-old self. And that is where you are. You are literally, your consciousness is now back in your idea of time when you were 5 years old and that traumatic experience happened. Likewise, maybe you're dreaming about that vacation that you're going to have, and you've booked your trip to Italy, for instance, and you are getting ready to go there, and you're dreaming about sipping the wine and tasting some beautiful bread, maybe some pasta, gluten-free for some, and you're seeing how you maybe went to the vineyards. Yet you're still listening to me here. So your actual present moment is me in your ears, right here, wherever you're hearing me. But the fact that I just took you to Italy, you literally in consciousness went to Italy and were experiencing what I was describing to you. This is one of the reasons why people tell you to visualize in order to manifest the things that you're looking for. Because when you place your consciousness out there, you're actually experiencing that timeline. You're registering that within the cells of your body, and that helps you create it to bring it more in to your physical experience. But within the more multidimensional nature and experience that we're moving into now, when we're seeing lots of things that are going to bring up discomfort, are going to bring up things that do not feel so good, that are fearful. And you're saying, well, Joanne, why are you talking about fear? Why does it have to be fear? It doesn't have to be fear, because you may be shown lifetimes where you have mastered some of the skills that you also came here to learn. But here's the case as I understand it and as I'm experiencing it. You are lifting in frequency. You are choosing to let go of those things that aren't serving you any longer in order to allow for your frequency in your body to take on more light, for you to experience higher levels of consciousness. As the energies get higher and higher, and I've spoke to this in other episodes, what is of lower density, lower frequency, cannot remain within your energetic system. It must be released. But before it can be released, it has to be seen or experienced, felt, understood. Varying degrees of that, because some things can release really easily. More soul-based experiences that you've brought from other lifetimes might need a bit more understanding, of which case you're seeing the depiction in your dream state, for instance, in order for you to feel, see, acknowledge it. And you don't even need to understand it. You get it? You don't even need to understand it. You're there witnessing it. You're noting it. You're seeing it from your future self perspective, or your past self perspective if you're looking to the future. And just the fact that the body registers it, and you're registering it as that emotion. You might register it as tears. You might register it as complete feeling of relief, where all of a sudden you have the aha moments, the insights. And I'm going to touch on just one other point of this, and that's no, actually, I think that ties to a different topic. So let's bring us just a little bit of a recap before I close off this week's episode. When you're looking at the present moment, it's literally what you're experiencing in the moment that you're in. And this is why we are often called to mindfulness practices, where they actually bring you in and have you walk and scan your body, for instance. Or maybe you're walking on the beach and you're saying, oh, I see the trees and I feel the breeze on my face and I feel the sand under my toes. That's bringing you into the present moment. You're touching your fingers, you're maybe touching your face, touching an aspect of your body. Mindfulness practices bring you into the present moment. That way you know you're not in some past memory of a childhood, that you're not in some future creation that hasn't happened. And often, guys, remember, often our future isn't the nice vacation I was walking you through. It's actually, oh my God, what's going to happen if? Am I going to have enough money? Am I going to be able to have this relationship? Is this bad thing going to happen? Am I going to get the job? What if I don't get the job? How am I going to feed myself? Do you understand? Often our future projections, where we are moving into that future now moment, that future present moment. And again, it's an eternal now moment. There is only one now moment. Only one. All time. And maybe this is a bigger topic, but I think I might have covered it. All time is now. There is one eternal now moment in which we're experiencing all timeline, space, and dimensions. Regardless of whether you were off on a planet and you identify as being an Arcturian, or whether you were an Egyptian, or whether you are the you that you are right now, it's all now. It's all happening now, and now, and now, and now, and now, and now, and now. So it's important to know which now moment is your consciousness in, because just through our intention, we can move our consciousness to some other now moment. This is how people remote see. This is how people pick up on what's happening in your past life that's maybe interfering with your current life. So as you become aware that there is one eternal now moment, you get to then set the intention to be aware of what now moment are you experiencing, and then ask, whose emotion is it that I'm experiencing? Knowing that whatever you're experiencing, if you're feeling it somatically in your body, if you're feeling it, don't repress it. Allow the energy to move through, because it may be a past life thread or an old trauma that's looking to release from the body. So I hope this has added a bit more depth to the idea of being in the present moment. If you have found this episode beneficial, then please like it, share it, turn on notifications, and subscribe to my channel. It really does help get the energies out to those who need it. I look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of Embodied Soul.